What is the weirdest fact you know? Sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins can. They can also die of starvation with a full stomach. Their gut bacteria is very temperature dependent. Due to global warming, the temperature in the Caribbean can go below its more usual 23 degrees down to about 20 degrees at times, which will kill their digestive bacteria, so they can't digest what they eat. Sloths can't regulate their body temperature well, so they can't maintain an internal temperature to stop this happening. That is weird. I just heard this one on No Such Thing as a Fish, so I don't know if it's true. But apparently, if you play Tetris for 20 minutes within 6 hours after a traumatic car accident, you'll be 62% less likely to have post-traumatic stress disorder-like memories of the event. I've heard similar things. Soldiers returning from patrols reported less symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder when they could play video games or do coloring books. I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me. Most of the camels of Saudi Arabia are imported from Australia. The largest wild population of camels is also in Australia. Woodpeckers' tongues wrap around their brain to cushion them from a concussion when they peck against tree trunks. Titanic was fitted with microphones for receiving underwater bell signals. With this system, the sound of submarine bells was received through the hull of the vessel. Submarine bells, used as fog signals, were located on lightships, at lighthouses, and even on some specially equipped buoys. They were actuated by electric signals, compressed air, or simply by wave motion. Titanic had 2 submarine microphones on her hull, one on each side. These were the ears of the ship. By switching between the port and starboard microphones and comparing the volume of the bells, the navigation officer could determine the direction to the navigation aid. Sound travels much further through water than through air. These bells could be heard over 15 miles away through the headset. A pretty cool way of navigating at a time when GPS and radar didn't yet exist. Still couldn't detect the iceberg. You know what though? The pools on the Titanic are still full to this day. When male honey bees orgasm, their penises explode with a pop audible to human ears. And when winter comes, the worker bees, which are all female, kick the male bees out to die in the cold because they do nothing other than mate with the queen, and the queen can make more even if she is new and unmated. She needs to mate in order to make more female bees. Doorknobs that are made out of brass can disinfect itself in about 8 hours. Copper has the same effect. This early study, published in April 2020, demonstrates the SARS-CoV-2 virus particles became non-viable after 4 hours on copper surfaces. Brass disinfects itself because it's a copper alloy. An average storm cloud weighs about 47,627,199 kilograms, but is supported by even more air. Its volume is so huge that it can float. The noises the raptors made in Jurassic Park were actually turtles fucking. Not as weird, but my random fact is similar. In Spirited Away, when recording the English dub for the pig transformation scene, the actor talked with a mouthful of apple. In the original Japanese, they used KFC chicken. That there was a NASA-funded project in the 60s to teach dolphins to speak English, which managed to involve giving a dolphin handjob and LSD. Damn, I wish I was a dolphin. Edit. I know the dolphin committed suicide, making it more fitting. There are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there are atoms on Earth. You can arrange a deck of cards into a new, unique order once a second since the Big Bang, and you wouldn't even be 1% of the way through all possible combos today. Like, not even close to 1%. There's a higher chance of you dying in a gender reveal party than getting attacked by a shark. I desperately require numbers. If you shoot a gun too close to the hen house, the hens lay bloody eggs. Any abnormal stress will cause this. Kentucky Fried Chicken was actually created in Utah, but when Colonel Sanders visited Utah, he decided to call it Kentucky Fried Chicken since he was from Kentucky, UFC. If you were an Egyptian pharaoh and immortal making $10,000 a day, you still wouldn't have as much money as the richest man on earth today. If you're cold and have shivers but your testicles are hanging low, you have a fever. What if you don't have testicles? This is gonna get NSFW, but anyway, the scar that guys have between their legs that connects the scrotum to the anus, that was supposed to be the vagina. That closed up when we developed as a fetus. Also, the penis grows from the woman's clitoris in the womb. So basically, men's dick is just a clitoris that grew longer. The Stegosaurus was extinct for about 90 million years before Tyrannosaurus showed up, and the Tyrannosaurus has been extinct for about 65 million years. We are much closer in time to the T-Rex than the T-Rex was to Stegosaurus. Also, Cleopatra was born closer to our time than she was to the building of the pyramids. Our perception of time is funny. Your anus comprises either 35 or 37 creases, resulting in a pattern as unique as your fingertips. This discovery, first made by Salvador Dali, allowed for the development of an anus-examining smart toilet. On the same topic, it turns out that humans are deuterostomes. This means that at the start of its development, an embryo goes through a stage during which its tissue folds back over itself, creating something called a blastopore. As maturation continues, this blastopore becomes the anus. In short, you can make the argument that every person is an overgrown and unique asshole. Oh, of course he did. Okay, but just exactly how many buttholes was Dali looking at on a daily basis to come to this conclusion? Dogs that are slightly underweight live an average of 2 years longer than dogs that are slightly overweight. Scientists also found that mice who were fed all their calories during a single feeding lived longer than those who were fed the same amount of calories but broken up throughout the day. Butterflies and moths can drink blood and tears in order to get nutrients. It's called mud puddling. I think more horror movies should use this. Read a book about some Congo mercenaries in the 60s. The author said that as soon as someone would die, scores of butterflies would show up to sip on the blood, especially when a large number of people died at one spot. So, I guess there's some truth to that. When a person receives a kidney transplant, they don't take out the old kidneys, they just shove them to the side and leave them in there. Wait, what? I need more information. Do the old kidneys still work? Do they shrivel up and die? What becomes of them? I have a kidney transplant and can confirm this. Basically, the old ones shrink down to the size of a walnut, originally the size of a fist because they're not doing any of the work anymore. The blood continues to flow through them, and that's it. A bit like your appendix. They don't die, though. The tissue is still alive. If they become necrotic dying, then they need to be removed. Opossums generally cannot get rabies. Their body temperature is too low for the virus. Also, the stomach acid of a vulture is so highly acidic, it kills rabies virus and most bacteria, which is why they can eat dead, disgusting, rotting things. Eat it. To clarify, I mean vulture stomachs are crazy super powerful and destroy just about anything that gets in contact with the stomach acid, where we would get very sick from eating a rotting raccoon. Also, so happy to see all the interest in opossums and vultures. They are very interesting creatures that are gravely misunderstood and get a pretty bad rep. Opossums are master tick destroyers that generally want nothing to do with humans or are pretty chill about us. Vultures are a critical cleanup crew that prevent the spread of disease in the environment that rotting carcasses could spread, such as rabies. Further down there is a great post about how rabies can survive in a corpse for years and an animal that eats brain matter could become infected. Not vultures, though. I encourage anyone to read more about how amazing both these creatures are and how important they are to our, and all animals, continued survival. Honeybees can be trained to sniff out landmines in war zones. Obviously, dogs can do it, but to avoid blowing up poor, unsuspecting doggos, they figured out that bees could do the same thing and swarm the area without setting the mine off to alert people to its presence. Bees are also extremely good at sniffing out drugs, so they're really stepping in on dog-dominated fields right now. Spit will instantly harden super glue, but it's a much weaker bond. To expand on that, moisture in general accelerates the curing of cyanoacrylic adhesives like superglue. Excess moisture such as humidity also leads to more outgassing, which is a huge problem in manufacturing. When the Rubik's Cube was first released, a mathematician said it would take the average person 30 years, working 8 hours a day. He said it was impossible for someone without a master's in mathematics to solve it in under a month. Well, if you have to figure it out on your own, it would take a lot of people a long time to do so. But now you can look up how to do it, which speeds up the process significantly. I can't solve one side in my entire lifetime. I'm pathetic. One time, I saw a guy upside down on his head solving 2 cubes at the same time. It was amazing. I'll find the pic and post it somewhere. There's a vast difference between a million and a billion. A simple way to visualize it. A million seconds is over 11 days. A billion seconds is just under 32 years. For money, the example given is typically paraphrased. Let's say everyone is on a staircase and each step is $100,000 of net worth. 80% of the world hasn't gotten up the first step yet. Then there's everyone else who is standing somewhere on the first 10 steps or so. Then there's Jeff Bezos, who is literally at 8 inches per step, 266 miles into the atmosphere. The mind boggles. The Guinness Book of Records was invented by the Guinness beer folks. They figured a book of verifiable facts would help stop bar arguments. Kind of like the Michelin star was invented by the tire company originally to serve as a list of notable places to visit on your travels. Your oral health is very important. Poor oral health is more than just bad teeth or bad breath. It can lead to heart problems, infections, and more. It takes 7 grams of cocaine to kill you. Mosquitoes kill more humans than any other creature, including humans. The Tsar Bomba is capable of releasing around 1,500 times more energy than the Fat Man. The mosquito thing is really worrying because mosquitoes for some reason really love my blood. In summer, I can't go out without getting like 20 or more bites. So it's slightly worrying I'm 10 times more likely to die than the average person when it comes to insects. You know that feeling of falling you get when you're falling asleep? That happens because sometimes your muscles relax and your heart rate slows down so quickly that your body thinks you're dying. So it gives you that falling sensation which jolts you awake. Hypnic jerk. There's some thought that it might be an evolutionary holdover to keep us from falling out of trees while we sleep. If you were born in 80,000 before Christ and made 10,000 a day until now, you still would not be as rich as Elon Musk. I am not sure how accurate it is. I saw someone post it a few days ago here. So I did 10,000 times 365 times 82,020, which is approximately 299 billion. Google has his net worth at 292 billion. Edit? Wrong rich guy. Thanks for watching. Share weird facts you know in the comments. I really want to read them. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new videos. See you tomorrow. Big hugs.